How many bottles have we reviewed that have an old man on the top? Like, is that a thing for bourbon? You know, in bourbon,
we should take inventory.
And they always talk about how bourbon is like an old man's thing. Well, we'll quit putting old men on the bottle, and that's the problem, right?
Right.
Like,
Hello, and welcome to episode 38 of The Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you're going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Michael, Anthony, and Steven. Hey, guys.
I love the new intro. I know it's been like 3 episodes now, but I love it.
I love it too. It's like the professional voice man in full effect. You get that whole thing.
I'm just impressed he took our advice. You know, I think we even suggested like maybe we should change it up every now and then. You know,
Oh, I have thoughts. I think
Steve
I'm
was
gonna,
pretty rigid, so
I'm going to rewrite the intro, too.
oh man,
I've got some thoughts I want to do.
So while we got thoughts,
Thoughts.
well, we got thoughts.
Go ahead,
Thoughts
open
and
up.
feelings
Go
or
ahead.
just thoughts?
You know, this is your safe
Yeah,
place.
well, just
go and talk.
You know how people say like when they're joking, they're like, "Can we talk amongst each other? It's just us."
No,
You know?
no one else listening.
Yeah,
Just
honestly,
us.
with this podcast, it might just be us. I don't know, but
Your wife's listening.
well, that's true. But before the episode, Anthony's like, he was talking about other podcasts, and he said they take like live calls and things like that. So maybe we
I don't
should-
think anyone's up this late.
Well, I mean, we should maybe. I mean, the only calls I would get would be like the car warranty things. You know, like let's open up the phones. And the only thing I would get would be somebody trying to pay up cash for my house or something. You
Well,
know?
here we'll hand it to the listeners. We do have a voicemail line that you can leave a real life thing, and we can play it on the air and answer your questions. Just go to Instagram and click on our link tree, and it's down there at the bottom.
I didn't even know that.
Yep,
We have that for real?
yep, we do.
Okay, guys. Get
It's
over
been
there
there
and
since
leave.
the beginning.
Oh, we
No
got
one's
like
left a message,
like
but
a Google Voice or something. Is that what it is?
no, I think it's just part of the hosting site that you can leave a voice memo for us.
Oh, man. If we could actually some questions, that would be amazing, but I know we're probably not.
And I know we've had some good growth in Europe. So
Well, you said no one's up at 9 in the morning. What is it, like 6 or 7 in the morning over there? So maybe they're
There you go.
could be
driving to
waking
work.
up. They can roll out of bed and just call live right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I think our growth in Europe is because I'm ordering a whole bunch of Blantons straight
Damn
from the
it!
middle of the
I thought it was organic.
coming over
Oh,
there.
man. They're up in the morning, eating their breakfast meats and, you know, listening to the podcast.
Nothing better than country gravy.
That's not what they're doing, though. Have you ever been to like an all-inclusive that caters to the European crowd? Breakfast is like,
Sliced meat.
yeah, it's like lunch meats.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Like, I don't want my salami for breakfast, you know? But
I do want my cappuccino though.
It's my kind of breakfast.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
Just stuff my face with those different kinds of meats and cheeses and olives. You know, it's the Greek breakfast of champions. So,
I think you need to stick to the biscuits and gravy.
oh yeah, I do like biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's just the way it's going to fill you up in America.
It's rib
you know?
steaking.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I went Thursday night. I went to a concert. All right, and you guys
Was it Thursday?
make fun of me for it. I think. I don't know if y'all have a side text going or not, but you probably were making fun of me on it.
I actually didn't even know who you were talking
Well,
about.
I didn't.
So
I know Anthony didn't know. So
Well, when you told me you're going to a concert, I was like really excited for you. I'm like, man, it's amazing. He's gonna have some cool story to tell me about this.
well,
You know,
when-
really, contemporary. I thought maybe,
yeah.
you
When,
know,
when you go to a concert, like especially in Lexington, it's like we got the Opera House that seats a couple thousand, and then we got Rupp Arena, of course. Anything else is probably just going to be pretty obscure. So I told you guys, and so I had won some tickets on Facebook for this concert, and you all know my affinity for 80s,
Metal?
80s and 90s
Oh,
country
sorry.
music.
Yeah.
So I won some Billy Dean. 5 number ones in
Billy
his
Dean, it's not my
career.
love.
No, that's not it's not Billy Jean. It's Billy Dean. It's not Jimmy Dean. It's not the sausage. It's not Paula Dean. It's not the cook. It's
not Paula Dean
Billy
either.
Dean, right?
Okay.
And so you all have the same look. I'll be honest, you all have the same reaction my wife did too when I told her we were going. But just so you know, I've missed out on 2 other 80s and 90s countries concerts in the last couple months because my wife didn't want to go.
what were they?
Well, Exile came to.
That's right. I thought you went.
I didn't go. We didn't
Oh.
go. We had just gotten back from vacation. My kids didn't go with us on vacation. Our kids didn't go. So my wife didn't want to make someone watch their kids, one more night after we've been gone for a week without them. So didn't get to go to Exile. which that one hurt me. That one got me right in the gut. And then the Oak Ridge Boys were at the State Fair, and we thought the concert was at 4, so we were going to go. Turns out it was at 8, and it was a Sunday night, so we couldn't go. There's nothing like an 80s or 90s country concert at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's about typical, right? So anyway, this one, win tickets, we go. It's at the Castle. There's a castle in Kentucky.
People
right?
do not know this.
Yes, there is a castle.
There's
right
a
outside of Lexington.
Legit castle.
It is a castle. It's a hotel, got a restaurant. It's like a bed and breakfast type, thing.
But it was built as a castle.
Yeah, it was built as a castle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So it is not like
It doesn't have a moat though.
no, it's not
I
like
wish it
It's
did.
got a wall.
Cinderella's
and
castle
turrets.
at Disney World or
Yeah.
anything, but it's a castle.
Yeah, it's
right.
a castle.
It's
It's
a
a proper castle.
Yeah, it's a castle. So anyway,
Catapults?
so they had the concert there, and even
Trebuchets.
There you go.
even Billy Dean himself said he did not know that there was a castle anywhere in America, and he was surprised
What?
to hear.
Yeah.
He said I was having a concert at the castle, and he goes, and I didn't know
Fine jewelry.
Yeah, didn't know what to expect. He said I pulled up, and sure enough, it's a castle.
Did you ask? Do you know where Billy Dean's from?
Yeah, he's from Florida.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
All right.
so-
I wondered.
So anyway, we pull up, and I mean, there were not 75 people at this concert. By the way, I won the tickets by naming my 3 favorite Billy Dean songs. For the record, it's I Miss Billy the Kid, We Just Disagree, and what was my third one I said?
This is the winning one.
Let Them Be Little. So
Oh, okay.
anyway, so I named those, right? And they said they would randomly draw a winner out of the people that listed. Well, when I looked at it, I think only like 8 people even entered the contest. So
Oh, nice.
I mean, my chances were better than they are on trying to win or 12 on a fireball. But so anyway, get up there, walk in, and there are not 75 people at this concert.
Oh, I thought Billy would get more of the draw.
You'd have thought. I mean, 5 number ones. I mean,
That's
had number
sad.
one hit in 26 years, but still.
And it's outdoor too, so
Yeah, it was like under a tent. It was really nice. I was telling Steven yesterday that there was a VIP section, and that was the first 2 rows of the concert with a VIP, and we were on the 3rd row.
Oh.
So we were right behind VIP.
You were right there. I mean, why
Yeah.
spend the money?
But
Right there.
and so that's the like half glass full or half glass half full.
half-
way to look at
yeah.
it is that we were on the 3rd row. If you want to look at it, the glass is half empty. We were also on the last row. So the VIP people clearly got a great deal by getting those first 2 rows, right?
Oh man,
But it was
they felt
good. No,
gypped,
it was good. Actually, my wife and I had some good jokes because, like I said, there weren't 75 people there, and
They were all 75 years old.
They were all 75 years old. We were
Nice.
the youngest people there, probably by 15 years at least.
Dang.
And but I had some good cocktails. They had a nice old fashioned at the castle that they made with had like some chocolate in it. It was a little different twist on it, so that was pretty good. It was fun. It was started at 7:30. It was over by 9. Got home in time. To still go to bed early and go to work the next day, which no one else at the concert had to do because they were all retired. Right? I mean, there were some hammered old people there. So.
Where can I go to up my knowledge of 80s and 90s country music? Like what station? Because I think today when I was driving,
Well, this was on Hank FM 105.5.
Yeah, I was
there
Go
you go.
there. I was gonna
Okay.
go there.
I wondered. It was Hank
Yeah,
FM.
that's a good place to start.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that.
That's a good place to start.
I started today.
If you
I
got like
put-
Amazon Music or Apple Music, there's an 80s and 90s
Country.
playlist.
Okay.
Country. I can make you one.
Well, all I know is
Steven
that-
has a CD player in his car. I can burn you guys a little
Burn a CD.
Burn a
you guys
CD.
a little mixtape or something.
There you go. The Michael special. Just write. You're gonna write right on it to me. All the songs on the top of the CD.
I might even make buy one of those little barrels that people get and fill it with whiskey and then age it in Billy Dean music. Let it shake. Just like we did with
basically shooting right
There you go.
there.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean,
Oh,
but seriously,
my God.
it was. We went to Railbird. We talked about that, and Dave Matthews was great. My Morning Jacket I thought was terrible, but Billy Dean was twice the entertainer of any of those people. So,
I
maybe
mean,
it was
being
good.
so intimate, it
Yeah,
had to
so
be
maybe
fun.
that was part of it. And
Yeah.
he's an entertainer. Like he's he's done like acting and stuff like that too. So he's
That's
so he's
pretty
got
awesome.
that more. But
We have a new old one tonight. We have a bottle of Old Grandad 114.
All right, Old Granddad 114. The distillery is the Jim Beam Distillery, Claremont. Even though the bottle says Old Granddad, we know who distilled this. It's a bottle date of 2018.
An oldie.
An oldie. ABV is 57%. That's 114 proof. Aged 4 to 6 years old. It doesn't have an age statement on the bottle. Mash bill is, well, we know it's a high rye bourbon. That's what we know. And so the MSRP on this used to be around $25, but I think right now it's currently sitting around $28, $29.
So it's a cool looking bottle. It's got a, it's kind of like a short and stumpy version of like a Weller bottle, kind of.
Yeah, it's really interesting shape. Have we had another bottle shaped like that?
No, I don't.
I can't recall. It's very, very like deep.
Yeah, it's a
big grip.
Yeah, it is. I like it. I mean, I like the shape of it and all that. It's got a good solid real cork at the top.
It is massive,
and it is a very wide mouthed bottle.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it looks old timey.
Yeah, it kind of does, right?
kind of like old granddad.
Yeah.
Kind of like a.
Yeah.
It's got a. Looks like it's got a bust of Mozart on there or something. It's got a.
But you know, if you look at it too quickly, you might think it's Gandhi.
It does kind of look like Gandhi. You're right.
Hey, you guys are better than I thought it was Elmer T. Lee.
How many bottles have we reviewed that have an old man on the top? Like, is that a thing for bourbon? You know, in bourbon.
Yeah, we should take inventory.
And they always talk about how bourbon is like an old man's thing. Well, we'll quit putting old men on the bottle, and that's the problem, right?
Right.
Like, so my grandparents had at their house. They always had those little. You've probably seen them. Those little mini like white busts of like Thomas Jefferson or Abraham Lincoln or John F. Kennedy. You know, like I don't know what they were. I don't know why they had them, but they did. That's kind of what this looks like. It's one of those little white, you know, statues of a person. But
I do gotta say the coloring of the label being black, it kind of reminds me of a dirty, dingy place. It kind of reminds me if you went into Columbia's on Richmond Road.
Yeah.
It's dirty, dingy, dark.
Yeah.
That's the kind of bourbon they're gonna pour out. Hey, you want some bourbon, kid? They pour you one up.
yeah, you should go to Columbia's downtown. It's even dirtier and dingier.
You know, I've been there. I've been there once.
Yeah, it's even better. Still great though.
Big advertisement for Columbia
Yeah,
Steakhouse.
shout out to Columbia there.
Nighthawk special.
So this bottle, you know what this bottle reminds me of is a I feel like this is one of those ones you would it looks like a Dusty, you know, like it just looks like an old bottle that you would pull out of the bottom of the lake that's been buried in there with like it's got a note in it or something, you know, like
You can get quite the message in a bottle in there.
right, yeah, you could. Or you know how
This bottle was
or you
laying
know how people
in the
like
soil.
you know how people like renovate houses and they find bottles in like the walls and stuff. That's what I think this is like.
That's the Survivor.
Yeah. Well, this is it. So it's got a wax looking stamp on it. I'm not real sure what the point of the wax stamp is because it's
Old.
Yeah, it's not wax at all.
Does it say anything on it?
And it doesn't say anything other than the exact same information that's written 3 other places on the bottle. So the wax stamp says proof 114, but at the top the neck label says 114 proof. The name of the bottle is Old Granddad.
Did you look on the top of the
114.
cap? Look on the top of the cap.
Oh, there's a 114 there too. And then under the label where it says Old Granddad 114, it says it's 114 proof. So
I wonder.
But what's the
proof is.
ABV?
that's on there too. Don't worry. They are quite proud of that. And then on the back it says it is made from a unique recipe. Isn't the unique recipe the same recipe they use for pretty much everything else at Jim Beam?
Pretty sure.
So it's
But
unique to Jim Beam.
How much better would that bottle look if it wasn't a dull gold on the top and the stamp? If it was actually like a nice metallic color, I think that would really make it look more modern than an old Columbia Steakhouse. But they're probably not going for that, right? They're going for the retro look.
So somebody told me one time that this was like if you took Basil Hayden and made it 114 proof, that's what this is.
That's probably about right.
I don't know.
think so.
I mean, that's the difference between the two brands.
So if anybody out there who hates Basil Hayden being 80 proof, myself included, just go get yourself a bottle of this even before we try it.
Look for a lot number on each bottle signifying the authenticity of Old Granddad 114.
Really? What's the lot number on that bottle?
Something tells me that this is a little gimmick. First of all, they say look for it like it's hidden. It's right there. It's pretty big. And this is lot number 1.
Oh, I got the first one.
Steven got lot number 1.
Oh.
So this is the original right here.
I'm really excited now to try this. Sounds special.
So if you don't like this one,
Maybe
try
lot two.
number two.
Lot 2, yeah.
For a while there, people went crazy about this bottle, right? Was it like last summer maybe?
I think the noobs start discovering it.
I think it was
Something happened with
it. Was
it.
about 2 years ago. They said that it was.
It didn't
gonna
get
be,
Whiskey of the Year, did it?
Yeah,
I'm sure it did somewhere. Someone's awards, they got Whiskey of the Year.
they aren't going to put it on the bottle though. But I think that like a lot of, I don't want to call this a budget bourbon because it's definitely more than our $10 bottles. But it was rumored that it was going to be discontinued, and I think that started just because it wasn't showing up a lot in stock in a lot of places. And so whether or not Beam was actually thinking about discontinuing it will not be known to me or any of us because we're not insiders. But once that got out, I mean, I think there were some people asking like $50 a bottle for this. But
Wow.
It was short-lived. And then once it started to come back out, now, how many pallets did you say you saw at Costco?
I was at Costco the other day, and they had a whole row. There had to be 200 bottles there.
So definitely not getting discontinued.
It's definitely not getting discontinued. I think it did. It did kind of raise the price though. Like even now at Costco, it's maybe $26, and I think even before it went a little bit scarce, it was like 24. Everywhere.
And they're supposed to be selling like pennies above the SKU, right? Because that's what Costco's game is to sell volume. So if that's the case, then they're getting it the cheapest anywhere in town. So,
Well, guys, should we go for our first notes?
la salud. You can smell the heat. You can feel it.
I'm getting some sort of rubbing medicine smell to it.
Well, it's funny you say that because it's been a long time since I've had this, but I remember the reason. Well, I'll save that for my past try or buy, but I remember thinking this had a medicinal note to it. But I'm getting a little bit of cinnamon.
Yeah, I'm getting the cinnamon as well.
Little clove, maybe? Is there some clove in there?
That medicinal smell is heavy, though.
That appeals to the granddad in it.
Maybe it's for his joints and his pain.
It is.
The arthritis.
Yeah, the arthritis.
Maybe this is for.
So that's the arthritis note.
I'm going to go ahead and write that down for future use.
It's a mild to moderate arthritis, though, right?
Get a little bit of oak. Kind of like nothing sweet jumping out at me, though. No sweet like butterscotch or anything like that. Anything else?
No, I don't think I'm getting any sort of baking spice out of it, but in fact, there might be something, but I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, that's the tough thing. We smell these things on the fly, nosing them on the fly is pretty tough.
All right, let's sip it on the fly.
All right.
114, it goes down smooth. Not much heat even for the rye. Hi, rye.
Ooh, Kentucky hug.
Did you get one?
I did.
Yeah, I got a little bit too, but again, that might be the rye, the high rye in it.
It's a pretty well-rounded sip. Nothing's overpowering. The only thing I got to translate over is a cinnamon. I have a really keen sense for cinnamon. Johnny Drum is one that strikes me that I've tried. It has a lot of cinnamon notes to it. So this has quite a bit of cinnamon to me.
I felt like I got that on the back end of the palate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one seems like I see more people talking about this in cocktails. Using this, maybe it's because of the rye, the high proof.
Yeah, I could see that because I know how many times you got a cocktail when they make it with something that's lower proof, and then you kind of feel like it just washes out in flavor. This would definitely stand up to whatever you
it probably
throw at
checks like all the boxes for a cocktail because it's the high rye or rye, the high proof, and then
It's sweet because of the rye.
yeah, well, and then not being expensive,
Not
so it
being
doesn't
expensive,
make the cocktail a $20 cocktail. Steve and I talked probably when you bought. I think it might have even been when you bought this bottle about he was putting together a bar cart.
Okay.
And so I think you kind of intentionally bought this bottle for that reason.
Yeah, to keep it on there as maybe a mixer.
As a mixer.
Okay.
And it was also a higher proof.
High proof for the actual cart.
So
yeah, the idea behind the cart was that pick 5 bottles that you could relatively easily replace
Okay.
to kind of have as, on like a table. So when people come over, they can, choose between like 5 that you're kind of like still approval, I guess, on these that, these are good for whatever reason. And, you can enjoy it without, going down to the bunker and getting stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
we thought about it for a while, and then we decided to go with the let's buy 60 bottles and just set them on the counter over there. Why do we need a cart?
Maybe I agree the cart quickly.
Right. Like, why do we have to choose 5? Let's just go ahead and throw everything out there.
Open the floodgates. Come on. No, that's the second sip on this makes me kind of realize why you guys were talking about it in that mixer category. Maybe because I get the cinnamon, I get some rye spice, I get some heat. It's well rounded, but it's not like, there's certain sippers that I want to go back to because I enjoy what I'm sipping and it kind of the complexity develops.
Yep.
This just seems like it stays consistent.
Right. It's just there.
It's
You're
just
drinking
there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not really like...
It's not bad. It's just...
Yeah,
Well, I mean, if
bad
there's
at
anything
all.
that Jim Beam's going to do, it's going to be pretty consistent,
Yeah,
Like, I mean, they're a big mass producer.
that's true.
So, I mean, I
And
know,
this
like
is
Steven
not-
worried about before the episode, what year we bought this bottle and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it really matters. 21, 20,
Right.
19, 18, they're all going to say it tastes exactly the same.
The question is Booker's is single barrel, right?
I
Booker's
think so,
is?
yeah.
Or is it small
Baker's.
batch?
Baker's.
Is
Booker's.
Baker's big?
Baker's.
Anyway.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to think because that's the highest proof stuff they put out is the
Oh, yeah. You're
is
right.
the
No, you're right.
Booker's. But that's not single barrel. That's still a small batch bourbon, I think, right?
I guess, yeah.
So it must just be cask strength small batch bourbon versus this one, which a lot of bourbon brands that are watering down, they're watering down to pretty low proof. This is watered down to 114.
Right. So I guess, but Knob Creek, right? That's a Jim
Yeah,
Beam.
Knob Creek is
they
Jim
do
Beam.
single barrels, right?
Yep.
That are like 120 proof, I think.
So, guys, would you pass, try, or buy on the old Granddad's 114?
I'm going to give it a try. I mean, I had it one time a long time ago, and that medicinal stuff, Steven, you got me thinking about that now. That was the reason why I didn't go back to it after I had a bottle, but that was years ago. Now that I tried it here tonight, I think I would try it again, and I would recommend that people do try it, especially if you are making the transition from drinking stuff that you like over and over again and maybe exploring higher proof stuff. A lot of the stuff, once you get north of 110 proof into 130, is going to cost you quite a bit of money, right? 50, 60, 100 plus, forget about it. This one at $29.
Under 30.
Yeah, under $30 for the proof and everything. I'm going to try it.
So, it probably in a similar manner, I would say I would buy it, just because I think that I think if most of our listeners don't have access to anything really really nice, this is a cool looking bottle. It's going to attract. I think it's going to attract attention if it's sitting on a bar cart or on your bar, something like that. I think it looks good enough. It's a high proof. It's cheap. So, especially if you got a Costco membership. Actually, you don't even have to have the membership.
No, you don't.
Yeah, just walk on in there and get it. So anyway, I would buy it.
So everything you said, Anthony, makes me want to buy it.
Okay.
Yeah. And what Michael said about people, it may not be hard to get something this high proof for the money. And if you're going to end up just mixing with it because it's well-rounded and just not super exciting, I think it's a good choice to have in your stash as something to do that with.
I think that's fair, and I think ultimately the reason why I was going more in the try side, and I appreciate you guys being a buy, is because I'm sipping a lot of bourbon and rye, and I'm looking for stuff that I usually
Can sip.
I've started doing more cocktails lately, but I've always been more of like a sipper or a big ice ball or something like that. And this one, after other things, wouldn't stand out to me, but it took me a long time to say that this wouldn't stand out in my repertoire, I would say. But I still appreciate it and think that, yeah, I do think if I move more toward the cocktail category, I will be definitely probably wanting to buy it, kind of joining you guys. So, Michael, I'm really now, tasting this bourbon, talking about biscuits and gravy, the whole timey stuff. I'm really jealous about that country concert that you went to, and I'm thinking I need to explore that a little bit more. So what's the next concert you're going to, and are you going to take, the two of us over there as well?
Well, I don't have one planned. You got to look pretty hard to find these things sometimes because they're not, they're not exactly
75 people.
They're not exactly advertising on TV, but you guys can come on along. I would say my wife would gladly give up her ticket to for you guys to come along. So we can always pencil in the state fair every year. The Oak Ridge Boys have played the Kentucky State Fair every year for the last 40 years. Even last year when it wasn't open to the public, they played.
Are you serious?
Yes, they did.
Virtual?
They played. No, they played for the cattle farmers and stuff that were selling their livestock there. So
Their prime rib sandwich.
so they the Oak Ridge Boys are there. Exile is based in Lexington, so they're always going to be around. So
Okay.
I'm sure that they will be putting on a concert here pretty soon. I don't like to pay for them though. I'll spend $20 or $25 on a concert, but I'm not going to go down to Renfro Valley and spend $60 on a concert down there. You are looking around like, what's Renfro Valley, aren't you?
That's where the country music, or no, Kentucky Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Kentucky Music Hall of Fame.
Okay,
is
I didn't know
there.
something.
Yeah.
Right,
But they've got they got like a concert hall there, like a big auditorium, and so they get a lot of country concerts there.
Okay.
Especially the older people. So
do they serve booze at most of these concerts?
They do,
'Cause that
yeah,
would
they
make
actually
it
just started-
easier sell for me.
they just started selling alcohol there. I think a couple of years ago. It was a whole big deal.
Oh, of course,
I'm sure.
So, but it was I think it's gone over pretty well. But yeah, come along.
Okay, yeah. You don't want people high on that bourbon going to those country concerts, but if it's going to be served there, I'm excited about
Yeah,
it.
no, don't you worry. Don't you worry. You gotta have a little bit.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY. Also, let us know your thoughts on this bottle in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.